Thank you, Deb. Good morning.
Good morning.
When I first introduced the budget, I knew that it was a long process, and at the end of that process, the House and the Senate will pass a budget that is not going to look like what I submitted to them. I understood that, and we're getting towards the end of the process now. The House and Senate are really starting to do their work. They've had their hearings, and I know Deb said she came to 4 weeks ago. That's the process, and now we're getting down. They want to finish by the end of the month. So the weeks that here we are on June 1st, getting close to finally getting a budget for the state of Rhode Island. A little bit of background. We chatted a little bit about Warwick, and that's where I started as a councilman and as a mayor. And when I came in as mayor in 1993, January of 93, that was a bad economy back then, if you remember. Credit union crisis, Governor Sunland was turning out the lights on the highway. Things were so bad. Unemployment was high. I don't think as high as it is now, but it was up there in the early 90s. And on top of that, in my city of Warwick, we chatted earlier, there was a terrible teacher dispute between the school committee and the Warwick Teachers Union. It had been going on for 2 years when I got elected, and it was terrible. It was terrible for the city of Warwick. On certain occasions when the impasse would get to the point the teachers wouldn't show up for work. They'd have the judge order them to go back to work. They'd refuse. They'd be on strike. And then the judge ordered them to go to jail. So we had Warwick teachers, your 6th grade, 5th grade teacher in handcuffs going to jail in our city. Remember that? You know, it was terrible. No one could sell a house because people didn't want to move there. And when the teachers came back to work, the dispute was so bad, they had something called work to rule, where you would only do to the letter of the contract. No college recommendations, no band, no chess club, no field trips, anything extra the teachers would not do. So it's very, very bad. And I was the first Republican in 32 years in my city. I was Republican then and independent now. And so the whole city was pretty much the other party. The council was the other party, and all the employees were the other party. But I just got to work, and we got a good budget. We worked with the police department, with the fire department, with the public works department, and got the teachers settled. And I was reelected in 94, 96, and 98. And what I'd like to say is the reason I was reelected is what the citizens look for: quality services at an affordable price. They want a beautiful senior center like this. We were at the Veterans Cemetery on Memorial Day on Monday, and it was beautiful. The flags all out, all the gravestones, the landscapers had mowed beautifully. Those are the services people want. If you have a veteran, you want to go visit your dad or your uncle's gravesite, you don't want weeds and not kept up. Quality services for affordable price. That's what we're in the business of doing. And so part of getting the economy going is having a good budget. All the answers to our problems are economic growth. If we have economic growth, good things are going to happen. We're in town of North Providence, my hometown city of Warwick, the state of Rhode Island, or the United States of America. We want economic growth. And one way to get that, I believe, is to have a good budget. You have to have an honest, fair budget. If you're doing it on smoke and mirrors and hoping expectations that revenues will come in that eventually do not come in, people don't have confidence. Confidence leads to economic growth. And I saw when I came in to the city of Warwick and what we did there. At the same time, nationally, Bill Clinton, if you remember, came in a terrible economy. Everyone was saying the economy was the big issue in that campaign. And he came in and he addressed the deficit. Remember that? And it cost him. He came in as a Democratic president, had a Democratic House, a Democratic Senate, but he addressed the deficit by raising the revenue that needed to bring down the deficit, and that cost him the House. The House turned Republican, the Senate turned Republican. But he made those good, tough decisions, and guess what? By the time I ran for the Senate in 2000, traveling around the state, all over the state, talking to employers, I'd say, what's your biggest challenge? and they would say, I can't find people to hire. I want to expand, but we can't find people to hire. That's how good the economy was. That's what we want again. The unemployment is so low that everybody's working, the economy's good. So if you address the deficit, there's the lesson. Clinton addressed the deficit, the economy took off, and that's what we want in the state. So how are we going to do that? Well, here's what I inherited. A $295 million deficit in this year's budget, fiscal year 2012, because we've been filling our budget with one-time fixes over the years. Tobacco settlement. We settle with the tobacco companies. They give us $100 million. Put it in the budget. Well, the next year, that's not going to be there. Oh, we find another one-time fix. And then the stimulus money came along, federal stimulus money. Everybody knew in this fiscal year 12, we weren't going to have those one-time fixes. Everybody knew it. So it came to this cliff, and it was a $295 million cliff. And that's what I inherited. And we knew that, no surprise. And over the downturn in the economy, the cuts have already been made. People are screaming, cut, cut, cut. I'll cut with the best of them. I've done it as a councilman, as a mayor, and as a senator. But the facts are, if you look at Rhode Island College, we talk about Rhode Island College and higher education the last 3 years, they've already been cut $38 million. That's a lot. Inflation's like this, and if you're cutting, what's going to happen? Tuitions are going to go up. It's that smart. We want our young people to be able to go to community college in Rhode Island, have it affordable. That's what made America great. Be able to go to URI, to go to Rick. Thank you. Magic switch. And we do that with the economy. And so the cuts have been made, $38 million to URI, RIC, and CCRI, while other states, our neighboring states, at least are holding steady. Go to the DMV, that's on the front page of the paper today. Over the last 3 years, they've gone from 192 people down to 155. They've gone from 11 branches down to 5. So now you can't register your car. You go to the DMV, and you're there all day trying to register your car and get a license. That's not the kind of state I want to be governor of. I want people to have quality services at an affordable price. And so we're putting money back into DMV to get it so you can go register your car and not lose a day's work just because you bought a trailer or something, you want to go get it registered. And also, in the last 3 years, this is very important, the cuts to the aid to cities and towns. It's been easy for the legislators to say, let's grab the money from the state aid to cities and towns. Let them worry about it. And so over the last 3 years, the cities and towns have been cut $195 million. And so there's no wonder Providence is in trouble. It's no wonder. It's not a surprise. Pawtucket had to borrow money to be payroll. Central Falls is in bankruptcy. Woonsocket and West Warwick are just hanging on. So these cuts have ramifications, whether it's DMV, whether it's higher education, whether it's aid to cities and towns. Those have already occurred. I'll look for more, I promise you. And we do have